This is Spain, a country on the edge of Europe where Africa is close enough to see on a clear day. It has the only true hot desert in Europe, a volcano that is taller than Everest when measured correctly, a language spoken by 700,000 people that has no known relatives anywhere on Earth, and a restaurant that has been serving the same roast pig from the same oven since 1725. Starting off from Fact 30, Spain is the second largest country in the European Union. Only France is bigger. It covers over 500,000 square kilometers, larger than California, larger than Sweden, Norway, and Finland combined. And it shares borders with 5 different countries: France, Andorra, Portugal, Morocco, and Gibraltar. 1 country, 5 borders, 2 continents touching. Fact 29. Africa is only 14 kilometers from Spain. On a clear day, you can stand on the Spanish coast and see the mountains of Morocco with your naked eye. Around 300 ships pass through the Strait of Gibraltar every single day. Every cargo ship, tanker, and warship traveling between the Atlantic and the Mediterranean must pass through this gap, 14 kilometers wide, one of the most strategically important stretches of water on Earth. Fact 28. Spain has the highest average altitude of any country in Europe after Switzerland. The interior is a vast elevated plateau called the Meseta Central. Madrid is the highest capital city in the European Union, 650 meters above sea level, higher than Vienna, higher than Paris, higher than Berlin. Most people imagine Spain as flat coastal beaches. The reality is a country built on a plateau surrounded by mountains on almost every side. Fact 27. The Pyrenees form a nearly perfect natural wall between Spain and France, 490 kilometers from the Atlantic to the Mediterranean, with peaks over 3,000 meters. For most of history, this range made Spain nearly impossible to reach overland from the rest of Europe. It is one of the reasons Spain developed such a distinct culture, language, and identity. The mountains did not just separate Spain from France. They separated Spain from everything. Fact 26. Spain controls territory on 2 different continents. The Canary Islands sit closer to Morocco than to Madrid. Ceuta and Melilla are Spanish cities physically located inside Morocco. Spain is not just a European country. It exists simultaneously on 2 continents, in 2 seas, and in the Atlantic Ocean. Fact 25. Spain has the only hot desert in Europe. The Tabernas Desert in Andalusia receives less than 250 millimeters of rain per year. It looks so much like the American Southwest that hundreds of Hollywood films were shot there. Once Upon a Time in the West, Lawrence of Arabia. Films most people think were shot in America or the Middle East were actually shot in southern Spain, in Europe's only desert. Fact 24. Teide, the volcano on Tenerife, is the highest point in Spain, at 3,718 meters. It is also the highest point in the entire Atlantic Ocean, and if you measure from the ocean floor, Teide is taller than Mount Everest, a Spanish volcano, taller than Everest, sitting off the coast of Africa. Fact 23. Spain has more UNESCO biosphere reserves than any other country in Europe, over 50 of them, from Atlantic rainforests in Galicia to volcanic landscapes in the Canary Islands. Most people go to Spain for the beaches. They are missing almost everything. Fact 22. The Donana National Park is one of the most important wetlands in Europe. Every year, millions of birds stop there during their migration between Europe and Africa. It is also home to the Iberian lynx, once the most endangered wild cat on Earth, and now, slowly, coming back. Fact 21. The Sierra Nevada in Granada is home to the southernmost ski resort in Europe. Ski slopes above 3,000 meters, less than 50 kilometers from the Mediterranean coast. On the same day, you can ski in the morning and swim in the sea by the afternoon. There is nowhere else in Europe where that is possible. Fact 20. Spain is the largest producer of olive oil in the world. It produces around half of all the olive oil on the entire planet. The province of Jaén alone has more olive trees than the whole of Greece, more than 66 million trees, in a single province. When you pick up a bottle of olive oil anywhere in the world, There is a 50% chance the olives came from Spain. Fact 19. Spain is the world's largest producer of wine by volume. More than France, more than Italy, it has the largest area of vineyards of any country on Earth. Yet Spain remains less famous for wine than France or Italy, because for decades most Spanish wine was exported in bulk and bottled under other countries' labels. Spanish wine, sold as French wine, for a century. Fact 18. Spain receives over 80 million international tourists every year, more than the entire population of France. Tourism accounts for around 12% of Spain's GDP. 1 in 8 euros the Spanish economy produces comes from people who came to look at the country. Fact 17. Seville was once the richest city in the world. The Guadalquivir River allowed ships to sail 60 kilometers inland from the Atlantic, and Seville was the only port authorized to trade with the Americas. Every ship returning from the New World, every ton of gold and silver, passed through Seville. Geography made it the wealthiest city on Earth.